especially when we are talking about big data, which means you have many observations, likely over 1 million data points for observations. Then sometimes what you'll find is that some data vendors, by data vendors I mean maybe your government or some private data vendors, they may basically divide a big data file into several small ones, and then you download them from their websites. And then if you really want to have the full data set, you have to combine them together. So what we are gonna learn is how you can actually combine data sets by using Python. Of course, you can do this in R, but here we are going to learn how to do it in Python. So here I already basically separated those data files. So your task is to actually merge these 3 data sets: the Uber 1, Uber 2, and Uber 3. Merge. So you have again to download those 3 files from your email. So we need Uber 1, 2, 3.
What? Why every time we have an import Panda, we don't need to import that Panda again, right?
Oh, of course, because of course, in each individual handout, I have to, have those. Otherwise, you say, oh, next time you forget to do those steps. Okay. But here, you already installed them, so you don't need to go through the same process. Okay, so but really, when you do your own practice, you should always keep, this kind of as your habit, because in the future, every time, now, because I walk you through, so you already, done the first and second step, so your code will be working. But in the future, if you don't remember, you have to do this, then you won't be able to do it. So now, this time, actually, there's a more efficient way to read, multiple CSV files into Python. But here I use the sort of, just the most basic way. I import them 3 times. But for this class, I don't want to, confuse you, so I chose to, just
import
do this.
Every time.
Yeah, 3 times. So of course, we have 3 CSV files, and then for each file, in order to not to or to make yourself confused or other people being confused, so we want to name them with different numbers. So Uber 1, 2, 3. So after you importing these 3 data files, then we can move on the next onto the next step. So okay, so here we import them, and then the next step here is that we are going to combine them together. So now we have 3 different data frames, but now we want to combine them all together. So what you can do is to use the pd.concat. Concat is the abbreviation for concatenate, which means you basically stack those files together or combine those files together. So you want to use the pd.concat, and then you put a parenthesis, right? And then inside the parenthesis, you use the square parenthesis, and then you put those data frames you want to combine. So in this case, we want to combine Uber 1, Uber 2, and Uber 3. And then you want to make sure you want to save the results in another data frame. In this case, I call this new data frame row_concat. Just to represent that we actually concatenate those files into one. Okay, so you execute that code. And then there are a few options you can look at what's going on inside that data set. So the next step I teach you here is you can say I want to print contact. Okay, so again, if you stop here, what you'll get is just the full content of the data frame, right? But now I say shape, dot shape. Dot shape means I only want to look at what the data set look like. So guess what? Once you do that, you get 297, 5. Want to guess what those two numbers stands for?
Rows, IG, matrix for row number.
Yeah, it's basic matrix, and Chow is correct. It's the number of observations, right? There are 297 rows and 5 columns. Of course, this doesn't really tell you that much. So if you really want to see what's going on inside the data set, you can again, use the head function instead of the shape function, because the shape function doesn't really tell you that much, but it gives you the basic idea of what that data frame look like, right? Again, we use the head function, and it gives you the first 5 observations. So you see the very first column is where it's unnamed, and then you have the date time information and the latitude, longitude, and base. So you sort of know this data set is about sort of the GPS tracking information for those Uber movement basically. Again, if you want to look at as you can see, the full data set it has the 297 rows, but here we only show the first 5. Again, if you want to print the whole thing, you just print the row contact, and you can see the full data set. But imagine that if you are dealing with a median data points, then this is not fun to show everything. Okay, so this is how you can actually combine 2 data sets together, and actually there are many different ways to combine data sets. This is just one way, and in this case, those 3 files they have exact the same number of columns and same variables. So when you have different number of columns or variables, there are other ways to do the combination. But that's sort of we don't have too much time to talk about everything. But at least here I just want to give you the basic idea. What if like kind of a simplified version of the data processing thing. You can actually just do the concatenate. But of course, there are other ways to do it. But that's something you can learn in the future. But here, I just want to give you a brief introduction.